All right, welcome to everybody on the Facebook. Welcome to everybody on YouTube. And we are pretty much ready to go. Today is a test prep day, which means it's a short 45-minute ride. It's a little bit of effort because, well, we want to make sure that things are working before we go into our FTP test tomorrow morning. And it's loaded on ZWIFT. So I'm going to walk over there. I'll open up the workout, show you real quickly what the histogram looks like. All right, so if I go into, I guess I have to hit clear and then reload it. So if I go into the workouts, I go into my Training Peaks custom workouts. Today's workout is called BASECAMP Test Prep, 45 minutes. Interesting that the date on it is 1/1/2020. I wonder if this is the same workout that we did on Well, it says the last time I completed it was 1/1/20. So I must have done this workout on January 1st of 2020. So if you look, we start off pretty easy, a little bit of warm-up. We got 2 minutes and then 3 minutes, 140. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 fast pedals at a progressively increased both cadence and watts. Then we have a 1 minute and a 10 minute at 130. Then we have a minute 30 at 215, 3 minutes at 120, 130 at 215, 3 minutes at 120, 130 at 240, 3 minutes at 120, and then 11 minutes and 15, a really long cool down. So I'm going to click on workout. I'm going to, let's see, it seems to want me in Le François today. And there's only a couple of routes in Le François today. So, it's only a 45 minute ride. I think I'm going to go over to the old standby of Wytopia. Oh, you know what? In that Paris, the Champs-Élysées route. Obviously, I've done it a bunch of times. It's already going to be green. And there isn't a Champs-Élysées backwards, but there's something called the Lucette Express. Maybe that's the backwards version. It is indeed. I don't know why it's more climbing going backwards than it is forwards, though. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click ride. And then I'm going to come back and climb up on Le Bac, since, I'm in France. Actually, before I do, I'm going to go grab a screwdriver real quick because I got to adjust something on a cleat. Which I should have done before. I intended to do before, but then I got distracted with the upgraded, the new software install of the Live Stream Studio 6 software. So I just need to tighten these. Probably should have checked for center there. It's probably off now that I look at it. But it'll be good enough for today. That might be why my knee hurts, actually. It needs to be way further over this way. Because as it is right now, yeah, it's only a 45-minute ride. It's not really a whole lot of effort, so it doesn't matter. At least not today. All right. So those of you who watched the episode yesterday, you saw that my big exciting news, ooh man, it's chilly today, was that I was able to get my cycling shoes turned on, which is news because yesterday was the first time. It was only a 1-hour ride, but it was the first time since my surgery that I was able to get my foot into any of my cycling shoes. And so that was a big momentous occasion for me because of that. So I am streaming. It does look like I'm getting warnings, although I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read those warnings. It's irrelevant as long as it's streaming. We're good. We're good. We're good. Actually, it looks like the warnings are on the Twitch. I don't know what that's about. Yeah. So, I am excited that I have my feet are getting better to a point where I can wear some stiff shoes. They're not actually the most stiff of my cycling shoes. But it is showing progress, and that makes me feel good. So, if you notice the cycling cap that I'm wearing today, just to look hip, because this is the American Mammal. That's right, the middle-aged man in Lycra. I'm Dave, and I am the American Mammal. And so in addition to the spandex that I'm putting on my body, I'm also wearing a really cool, ultra awesome cycling cap. Only because, well, I didn't shower before this workout today, and my hair looked like crap. And I know that you expect me to always look perfect, so. I was actually today, in addition to my cycling shoes, I was able to put something other than ankle socks onto my feet. I literally have only been able to wear, socks that go over my ankle because I haven't been able to get them on my feet until now. And so, today is like I said, another momentous day in addition to yesterday, because now I got my feet locked into my pedals, which should help with tomorrow. And I have my socks on. I got my cycling cap on, which I don't know if you can read that, but it says Pan Ohio Hope Ride. Talked a little bit about that yesterday. It's a 4-day ride across the state or down the state of Ohio from Lake Erie to the Ohio River. The official ride is about 70-ish miles a day. 1 century day, 1 I think 80-some mile day, one 50-some mile day, and one 70-mile day. But I typically add extra miles to every day so I can make it a full century each day. And it is the best supported, most well-appointed fondo that I have ever done. Sorry, I'm not really paying attention. So the bike feels different. I haven't had bike shoes on since October. So literally for 3 months. And I haven't been on the trainer at all before that. I don't think at all. Most of the season, so. And I do know I was messing with some of my settings on the bike. Saddle height, saddle depth, reach. I may need to readdress those items now that I have cleats back on. Because I can feel that the position of my foot in terms of, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I'm supposed to be pedaling at 65, I think it says. And my eyes are particularly poor today. Now 100. So I asked my coach, Amber, yesterday in Training Peaks, if I can copy yesterday's workout to tomorrow and ride that before I do my foot's already starting to hurt. Before I do my FTP test, because that 1 hour workout yesterday had me feeling actually really good after it. But I don't know if she's going to say, oh yeah, that's a great idea, or that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. She hasn't answered yet. So after this workout today, I'll probably send it to her in a text. To see what she says. The air must be really, really dry right now. Feels like it. So yeah, the Pan Ohio ride has some pretty incredible food. It really varies by year, but there have been years where they literally have like actual chefs prepare our on-the-road lunches, which is pretty incredible. It's not like heavy food. It's not, you know, stuff that's going to slow you down or interfere with your ride. But it's nice to literally get off the bike at lunchtime, sit down to a chef-prepared meal that at least most of it is designed with the nutritional aspect of, you know, a long ride. Because like specifically on like the 100-mile day, we leave from Worcester, Ohio. Worcester, if you're up in New England. Although it's actually spelled Worcester, W-O-O-S-T-E-R, not Worcester. Or, as some may pronounce it, what's this here sauce? We ride from there down through like Middleburg and Amish country on a dual-purpose trail, which is both for cycling and, well, is primarily for you know, horse and buggy, and secondarily for cyclists. So there's all kinds of minefields, if you will, on the route. You gotta watch out for the horse crap that is just, you know, laying there. But for the most part, you stay off the roads on that day. From actually most of the ride. But it's also the big climbing day. And I can't tell you how many feet there are, but there's at least one climb that's probably, I don't know, 500 or 600 feet. And then there's another long climb up a trail. But that day is the century ride for everybody. Like everybody has to ride 100 miles to get there. And about halfway through, I don't know, 40 or 50 or 60 miles into it, we stop at this park. And I don't know if he's like a local chef. I think he's like a local chef from the Middle Ohio area, who has a gourmet lunch. There are also less. I said gourmet, not hey Google. So there are less healthy options for those who don't need any of that nutritional quality crap while they're riding 100 miles. You could get yourself I think it's a Subway sandwich, which you know is full of all the goodness. Everything you need, you know, sugar, fat, more sugar, and that's just the bread. And all that processed meat, right? Everything you need to be healthy on the bike. Surprisingly, people do eat that. But then there's this whole area that's like chef food, and it's yummy. But yeah, then the official accommodations for everybody are in college dorm rooms. And so you can stay in there as part of the ride, and then obviously all the events are on those campuses. Or you can opt for the option of riding your bike a little bit further and staying in a hotel. Which is what I typically do. A couple of the days, like, not the first night, because in Worcester there's like literally like, I don't know, 1 or 2 hotel options. It's like a Holiday Inn Express and like a Hampton Inn, both of which were built in 1971 and probably last updated about then. But you have the benefit of paying like $300 a night for the hotel. So actually a lot of times I stay in the dorm room that night because it's just easier and you don't have to pay all that money. And I think the hotels are a couple miles away. The second night in or near Columbus, just north of Columbus, the hotels are actually probably about 2 miles away, maybe a little less than that. But there's a nice AC hotel there by Marriott. There is a nice what do they turn the Stouffer hotel chain into? Wow, my brain is really, I'm losing it. But that's where I usually stay, is at that hotel. It's actually the closest nice hotel to campus. Or there's a Residence Inn that's about a mile in the opposite direction. Renaissance Hotel. So there's a Renaissance, an AC, and a Residence Inn, all within about the same distance. But there's more food options, and at the Renaissance, they have a good restaurant in the hotel. It has a really nice, nutritious breakfast if you're a Marriott Rewards member. And other than having to transport your bag, which I keep everything simply in a backpack, then it's, a pretty easy ride the next morning with just your backpack. Good way to warm up before the ride starts. So, then the third night is in Springfield, Ohio. And the hotel there is about a mile away from campus, right in the heart of downtown. That's I think another Residence Inn. And it's a nice hotel. And then the fourth day, you ride down to Cincinnati. So there's buses that then take you back up to Cleveland if that's where you started, or they take you, people that come from Columbus or Toledo, they take them back home. Or you can get picked up in Cincy and just go home from there. Or you could drop your car off in Sin City, take the bus up the day before it starts, and then ride all the way back down. There's all kinds of options that they have. They make it as convenient as possible for people to ride. The food on course is mostly good. I don't recommend eating the snack options that they have at the water stops, but I literally never recommend that because of potential gut issues with your stomach not being used to the combined strain of cycling and whatever they're going to put in there. Okay, here I go with the first 1 minute, 100 RPM, so it's not all that fast. Less than 1 minute remaining in this part of the interval. Ken Carl says, right on. B. Beck says, right on. He's from DBC. K, does that say McClunder? Says, right on. Whew. My quads are really feeling this at this point. Route complete, and I leveled up. Level 30. I'm not to level 34 where I can get all the good equipment, bikes and wheels and whatnot, but I did level up. Whew. Whew. Yeah, my legs, they're burning. Maybe it wasn't such a great idea to change shoes 2 days before an FTP test. I'm kidding. The soft, flexible, what are they called? The 5-finger shoes? Vibram? Or something like that. And the platform pedals that I was wearing, they both kind of flex. Actually, the shoes completely flex, but the pedals I felt actually flexing some too. They're just plastic with a metal spindle. But I noticed that my foot flexes a lot. The pedal flexes a little, and it's really easy to move my foot around the pedal, which makes it really, really you lose a lot of power. So I think ultimately it'll be good for my testing. My power should go up, but obviously my positioning on the bike is a little different than what I've been training with for the last almost 3 months. And so that's going to have a cost associated with it in my test. But ultimately, it's a good thing, not a bad thing. All right, 17 seconds. There's only 3 of these. They're each only a minute and a half. And this one's at my current FTP at 100 cadence. So it's not like it's excessively hard, because I'm definitely stronger than I was. Obviously, when you're testing, your goal can't be to just sit at your FTP, because if you drop any at all, then you test lower. So it's got to be a percentage, some percentage higher than your current FTP. Even if you intend on just keeping it the same, if you haven't gotten any stronger. Man, my legs are really burning now. I'm definitely going to have to warm up much longer before the test, so they get beyond this burning phase. Alrighty, now the next one is probably where my target will be for tomorrow, which is 240 watts. I think that puts me back to my FTP from pre-surgery, but I'm not sure. I don't know what's 92% of 240. Boy, the 3 minutes of these soft pedals sure go by way quicker than the minute and a half of work. So again, they don't want us to burn any real energy today. They just want us to wake everything up, remind our systems that they're expected to work, so that we're not handicapped by our recovery week. So yeah, it's I don't know, 300 or 400 people that do Pan Ohio every year. It's a pretty good ride. It's a great group of people. Everybody, from people who are fit to there's actually at least a couple pro cyclists. To people who are very fit and cycle regularly, all the way down to people who are currently undergoing treatment for cancer. So they have medics and doctors on the course, actually physically on course every day, checking on everybody and providing assistance as needed. And the nutrition and everything else is designed for those who need it. But then there's junk food for people who think they know better. Alright, so I'm just going to stay pretty much right at 100. banner. Woo! I got my heart rate up, that's for sure, 160. I'm slowing down and it's going up. That's not a good sign. Why decoupling would happen after a rest week? That's another good question. Probably for the Facebook group of BASECAMP. If you remember at BASECAMP, if you pay to attend like I do, then there are private Facebook groups, like for the general riding and fitness stuff, for the nutrition stuff, for the workout stuff, like specifically like weightlifting and exercises off the bike. And then there's a private YouTube channel, and then there's Zoom meetings, and then there's their own website where there's some discussion and whatnot. It's actually, in my opinion, too much. There are too many, because then there's ZWIFT, and then there's Strava, and then there's Training Peaks. There's too many silos of information, of data, and it's really easy to get lost. Like, for some of the rides, you got to sign up in Strava, plus you have to sign up on ZWIFT, and you have to sign up on their website, and then there's also a sign up on the Facebook group. So if you miss any one of those, you either don't get included or you whatever, or if you sign up in the wrong place, in one or not the other or whatever, and you think you're signed up, but you ain't. So that's a little disheartening. That's, I mean, there's video chat software, like for webinars and whatnot, that you can use and embed into your website. There's one example. Their website has like all of the forum type features that Facebook has in terms of people posting questions and answering it and interacting and all that crap. On their website is where you got to sign up for everything. Training Peaks is Training Peaks. I mean, that's separate, and I get that that needs to be. And ZWIFT is ZWIFT. But you can do all the Zoom stuff, all the webinar stuff, the YouTube stuff can all literally be handled, and all the Facebook stuff can all be handled on their website. So then you're reducing it to 3. Their website, Training Peaks, and ZWIFT. They may have to use multiple tools to do it, like Vimeo is an example of streaming software where you can embed it on your website. So for me, the user, I'm just logging into my account on their website and I get to see it. But they would have to log into Vimeo to set up the recording of it. So it's a little confusing doing it that way from the administration standpoint, because you're doing things that the users don't have to do. But hey, isn't that the way it's supposed to be? And they have to do that anyhow, because they have to go on Zoom and set up the stuff anyhow. Now they're just doing it on Vimeo. They have to go to YouTube and set up the stuff anyhow. Now they're just doing it on Vimeo. And by the way, it's all streamed on their website. So as a user, you only have to go to one place. But what do I know? I'm just a user who, for 3 years that I've been doing this, have at least screwed up at least once each year, usually multiple times, about not signing up for something in the right place, expecting it to be there, and it's not. Bam, bam. Look at that. So what am I, 37 minutes into it? I'm feeling a little bit better. Of course, I'm riding at 105 watts. So, yeah, here we are in January. If you happen to be looking at your cycling schedule and trying to figure out what events you're going to do this summer, I would seriously consider riding Pan Ohio. I certainly recommend it. And if you do decide to ride it, you go to Pan Ohio Hope Ride, or I think it's 328.org, 328.org, either one of them. Then you sign up. Join Team MCPC. That's capital M, little c, little p, capital C. Join Team MCPC. All the teams are open to anybody, but MCPC is it's a diverse group of cyclists. There are people without a lot of experience that ride with MCPC, but then there's a larger group of people most years. It's the largest group of people that are fit and like to not shred the whole day, but certainly tear it up in places and generally, get done with the 100-mile days in less than 5 hours, usually less than or close to or 4 hours. So an idea of the pace. And there's enough strong people at the front of the pace line every day that you can literally just tuck in, not ever take a pull. You can just keep, you move up in the line, and then as soon as you get to the front, drop to the back. And as long as you're doing that, you're never really expected to take a pull. The people at the front who are pulling are used to and comfortable pulling all day long, and they don't expect you to. They're willing to let you take a pull if you want to, but they're totally comfortable pulling the entire way if that's what's necessary. And usually there's 2 or 3 or 4 of us. And then there's also, groups that, kind of drop off the back and just go do it, at a slower pace. Or there are groups that just don't start with that group from the very beginning and just ride their own pace. All within Team MCPC. But then, once being a part of a team is nice because you've got a group to start every day with and a group of people to ride with. But everybody, all 400 or so people that are on the ride, everybody's there to ride and have fun, regardless of what team or no team that they're on. Everybody, just like any ride, everybody kind of figures out who rides at similar paces. But the only day there's one of a couple criticisms that I have about the ride. One of the criticisms is that other than the very first day, there isn't a mass start. And so you literally have to coordinate with people starting on day 2 as to what time everybody's going to start and all of those logistic type stuff. So it makes it confusing, it makes it difficult for the participants to figure that out, versus if there was a mass start every day, even if some people chose not to start then, either going earlier or later, but it would make it much more convenient, easier for the majority of the group to recongeal and figure out who's riding at what pace, what day. Because a lot of people won't ride, long distances. Some of these people are riding so slow, a 70-mile day, they're taking 7 hours, right? Which, I don't know how their butts can handle that, but, so some of the people are like that. So they start the second day expecting, I'm going to have my 10-mile-an-hour pace, and they get out there, and their freaking body's sore, their ass is killing them, their legs won't move, and instead of a 10-mile-an-hour pace, they're at 6. So they started with the 10 people, the 6 people started an hour earlier, and now they're stuck on their own the whole day, which is a particular issue the third day. But the first time I did the ride, I wasn't on a team. I literally signed up the week of the ride because a friend of mine who had cancer and had done it previously called me and said he can't because of his treatment, and he asked me to ride for him. So I did. Unsupported, without a team, without knowing anybody, without knowing anything about the ride at all. Rode the first day, and you're usually kind of with at least a few people, but my pace didn't really match their pace and whatever. Halfway through the second day, it's the long day and the climbing day. B. George said, right on, thank you. And halfway through at that lunch, I was freaking cooked. Literally the climb. And I'm still not a climber, but I really wasn't a climber then. I wasn't really much of a cyclist then, certainly not in shape. But I had done 2 or 3 40-mile days back to back before that. So I figured, I got this. After the first 70-mile day and then going into a 100-mile day with lots of climbing, I didn't have it. So I was pretty cooked at lunch. I'm catching my breath, trying to freaking recover, figure out the hell I'm doing here. Finally, I found 2 people that were riding, and I'm like, I ended up sitting with them at lunch, and I'm like, do you guys mind if I tag along with you for at least a little bit? Because I don't really know where I'm going. I don't want to get lost and whatever. And they're like, absolutely, ride with us, blah, blah, blah. And that saved me. Then on the third day, I hooked up with a group that was in a little bit of a, oh no, that was the next year. The third day, from Columbus to Dayton, to Springfield. That day you're going from east to west in central Ohio, which is all, literally all just cornfields. Once you leave Columbus, it's just cornfield all the way. And it's like a 50-some mile day. It's the shortest of all the days. But it's the third day, so you're starting it pretty fried. And it's a short day, so I'm like, oh, no big deal. Well, I didn't know that the freaking winds just howl across those cornfields from west to east. So there was a hellish headwind and kind of like a storm type system. It never rained on us, but like they were like the support vehicles were all pretty nervous because apparently there were some big thunderstorms on the radar, but they never hit us. But so the third day, after the second long climbing day, you're riding into the wind the whole freaking way. And I tell you, that was the most challenging day I've probably ever had on the bike. I was, I don't know, almost done with the ride. Before you get to the last water stop, which is only a few miles from campus, but there's a gas station less than a mile before that, and it's hot, and the sun is beating down, and it's freaking windy, and you're dehydrated, and you're just miserable. And there's a gas station there. You go across this bridge in the middle of nowhere, and then just on this road, there's just a gas station. And like literally everybody was stopped at this gas station. People were laying down in the dirt next to the gas station. They were laying down on the concrete, going inside, buying beverages, and just everybody was fried, right? Well, little did most of us know that less than a mile later was the rest stop. But half hour, 45 minutes at that rest stop, just hating life. And then you go to the real rest stop, refuel again, and then little did I know at the time, it was only like 3 or 4 miles from there to the finish line. But literally at that rest stop, at the official one, at the last one of that third day, there's a petting zoo. They literally have, I don't remember what kind of animals, but they freaking bring animals to, pigs and, I don't know, sheep and whatever they, grow to slaughter and eat later. But literally there's like a petting zoo there. So they make it fun, they make it interesting, they make it intriguing. And then you got to climb going into campus, or going into town, followed by a climb going up the hill to the gym at, I don't know what school that is. So it is the third day was a challenging day not to have a group to ride with. I didn't understand the dynamics of groups. I didn't understand the benefits of group riding. I didn't like none of that. And I was just out there freaking miserable. I had caught up with a group at one point during that day and rode with them for a mile or two, but then they were just going too slow, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, screw it. And I went around and kept going. Now I know I should have just slowed down my pace and stuck with that group. Because I was miserable on my own. And there wasn't any way I was catching anybody else. I didn't. The next year, for that third day, I did find a group to ride with. I was still independent, but I did totally find a group to ride with because it felt much better. And so that helps a lot. When the first half of the day, you're kind of riding in and around Columbus, and then you stop for lunch, which isn't a good lunch to eat on a ride. Even though it's only a 15-mile day, it's like barbecue. Tastes really good. Not good for your performance. But then I met up with, I think they were called the Honey Badgers, or I don't remember what they were called. A team out of Springfield or Dayton area, and they were the fast group that year, and there were some attitudes in the group. They literally didn't want outsiders riding with them, which I kind of get, because they were in a pretty organized pace line, and you know, riding in a bunch like that, it can get dangerous, and they were setting a specific pace, and they were whatever. Well, I tagged on with them. I just kind of grabbed onto the back, and while they were actively talking about dropping people, I hung on and eventually started moving up the pace line, and by the time I took a couple pulls, they were like, "Oh, you're pretty good. You want to keep riding with us, tomorrow too?" And so I did, and that obviously made the ride much better. Like I said, I didn't understand anything about the dynamics of drafting or riding in a group before that. But I learned it, and it's a lesson I will, over those 2 years, that I will never forget. Once you learn how to draft, and once you learn how to draft properly, and once you learn how to ride in a pace line, and how to take a pull, how long to take a pull, how to pull off of pulling, and to reattach to the pace line at the end, it makes all the difference in the world. But the only way to learn is to do it. And if you never have an opportunity to do it, when you need it, you probably can't get into one. So it's a good thing to practice. Find a group, ride with them, and figure it out. Obviously I didn't stop. I'm not riding hard at 52 watts, but I'm going to go up to 15 or a little bit past 15. Because I don't want to spend any more energy before tomorrow. But I do feel, I don't know, my legs are still a little bit iffy, maybe. I don't want to test them out to see. I still think if I do that yesterday's workout before the FTP test, I'll probably do better. Because it wasn't effort, it was really just about fast pedaling for an hour. Yeah, I'm going to send her a text and ask her. Alrighty, so it looks like I'm going to D-Duke. Said right on. I'm going to go to 55 mini-autos. It looks like I've climbed 482 feet, ridden 15.1 miles. And not a lot of watts, but let's log in, or let's end the ride and look. Unclip, and now I'll go up to this computer and let's see what we got here. If I click on menu, average power 120, average heart rate 128, end ride 120 average, 15.2 miles, 55.13, 379 kcal, which is 1.3 pieces OPI, and a 39 TSS. So if I look at my heart rate distribution here, the first fast pedal, which is literally just a fast pedal. The second one, we're at tempo pace. You can see it peaked and then it kind of came down quick. The third one, I don't know what happened here. They're not showing me my cadence. It kind of drops and then goes back up. So I know that here at least, I think I kept my cadence up. Oh, there's cadence. No, I did not keep my cadence up, so that was lower. So I don't know what that little dip and then peak spike was here. Then it goes down, kind of up and down, probably with my cadence there. These may be like me sitting up versus on the handlebars. And then the first part of the workout, and then I go up, and then I go down. Second part of the workout, I go up, and then more rapidly go down. That's interesting. I think this was the one where I noticed here. So I slowed down a little bit, then I realized, oh, it says 100 RPM. So then I picked it back up a little bit. Then the third one goes up. I slow down. It rapidly comes down, and then through the cool down, it just blips. So overall, I think that was certainly not too shabby, if you will. So that's my ride. Tomorrow, make plans to join me at about 10 o'clock, because if I get to do that warm-up or not, at about 10 o'clock is when I should be starting either the warm-up or the warm-up before my FTP test, at which I will truly be suffering and hating life and regretting the fact that I got this camera running while I'm sitting there huffing and puffing and sweating and just dragging because I'm in the midst of my FTP test, which looks like I'll probably be shooting for about 240. But we'll see how I feel tomorrow. We'll see how I do tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you out there.